welcome everybody. It's Ted Prodromou. It's Epic Encore. Here with my friend Teresa. You've been in Titans for how long now? 3 years, 4 years?
I am going on to my fourth year, Ted. Can you believe that?
I'm I'm in my fourth. I'll be renewing for my fifth soon.
Wow.
And for
It's a
those that don't know,
fascinating
it's
group.
Titans Accelerator from Brian Kurtz, who brought together hundreds of amazing people. It's just the greatest.
Truly. Everyone that's in there has a good heart, is intelligent, wants to do better for the world and for their family and themselves.
Yeah,
And they have a real sense of providing value to each other.
yeah. It's a bunch of givers, not takers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So true.
So you've had an interesting journey. I'll share, like, what were you doing before your current marketing role?
Well, the journey's been a lot of fun, Ted. I started off in Oh my gosh, as a graduate at Ohio State University and with a bachelor's degree in occupational therapy. And I thought, oh, I can do this for at least 20 years. And I grew up with a grandfather that said, if you do anything, work for yourself. It's the only way to get ahead. So I graduated from college, figured out how to create my own healthcare business, developed an outpatient therapy company. And one day I realized I was getting up at 5 a.m. 6 days a week. I was in my office by 7 a.m. 6 days a week. I was doing 12-hour days, 14-hour days. And I would watch my employees go off on vacation and I would go to a business conference. Yes. And I would I got to go. Even if I spent Christmas with my family, I got to go back to work.
Yeah,
And the day came after 24 years where I knew in my heart I wanted to shift. I wanted the type of lifestyle where I didn't have to be at the office at 7 a.m. every day.
right,
And one of the things I enjoyed the most about what I was doing was the marketing. So I figured if I learned online marketing, I didn't have to be anywhere in particular, right?
right.
Yeah. So I started producing videos and learning how to put the videos on websites and how to get the websites on the first page of Google, which is all that cool SEO, search engine optimization stuff that takes forever.
Yeah,
And I'm this mastermind and I'm doing all of this. One of the gals says, well, how come we don't do this with Facebook ads? And I'm like, well, what is that?
yeah, right.
Yeah. And she showed me, and I was fascinated because you've been in marketing a long time. So you're well aware that SEO is kind of like this repeat and wait, repeat and wait, repeat and wait. You're a lot of the same tasks get done and have to be done on a regular basis in order to boost the search engine rankings.
Yeah,
Days, weeks, months can go by. It's
yeah.
like watching TV.
Well, when I started doing SEO, it was before Google existed. And then Google came along, and then you stuffed all your keywords in the meta tags.
Yes.
Google wouldn't come
The
to your
word
site.
clouds.
It could take 6 months to a year for Google to come to your site. So you did not have to change this made a difference.
Right. Right. It was, you just got to do what you're supposed to do and then wait. Yeah. The customer's
Yep.
saying, how come we're not on the first page of Google? Well, we're working on it. And
Right.
you'd show them at least I taught show them all these fancy reports. And yeah, eventually I did get sites to the first page of Google. It really did work.
Right.
Yeah. This whole Facebook ad thing. Oof. It was like watching the Kentucky racehorse.
Right.
Yeah. As opposed to sauntering down a country trail on a
Right.
horse.
Well,
So the
back when I got started, when I was doing Google ads first before Facebook,
yes,
and
because
Google
Facebook
ads, I would
kind of
set them up for my business and I wouldn't even check them for a month. I would just let them run and they would run for years, 2 or 3 years.
oh,
I
no
didn't have to touch
kidding.
them because there was
Wow.
no competition. Nobody was doing that. And
Even
now
better.
it's like, phew, boy, you have to respond every hour, it seems like.
You know what? I have accounts I check daily. Yeah, the Facebook ads is where I ended up fine-tuning my saw, sharpening my saw,
Yeah.
fine-tuning my craft. And you're right. It's a huge auction house. And a lot of people are in there now. It's not like, the days when there's people in the marketing world that they simply put up an offer for a dating 5 tips for dating, and they would make, 7 digits.
Right.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, just crazy, unheard of things. And it's a lot tougher now. And the way it's shifting, you need to be a good marketer now.
Right.
You need to have great marketing chops to make things different, to make them work, to keep your costs down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And Facebook's come up with such a black box. And there's all these green buttons that they picked up. Just click here, just click here, just click here, just
Right.
click here. Yeah.
Let us do it
Well,
for you.
yeah. Yeah. And then Facebook's like, yeah, we've got them. And we don't know, we're not going to tell them what worked. We're just going to like take their money.
Trust us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I have one client we met a year ago. And truth be told, it took a year off and on of him and I chit-chatting back and forth before he said, okay, I'll try your services. Well, truth be told, his health wasn't great. So he couldn't even like pay his own bills, let alone pay a marketer to come in and work on his
Wow.
Facebook. Yeah. That was part of the reason it took so long. I've been on his account for 30 days and he's just shocked and amazed at the difference. Because he kept arguing with me, what could you possibly do that I can't do? I've been doing this by myself for a year. And I'm like, and you're starting to bleed money. You
Yeah.
made money out of dumb luck.
That's what I love about you. You stay up so current because everything is literally changing sometimes daily, it seems like. But you're on top of the
Oh,
changes. You got your finger on the pulse.
right. I like having my finger on the pulse. I like learning new things and going to different webinars. The fun part for me is like going through, I'm in a few different mentoring groups and learning from each other. I mean, I probably rack a good 5 hours a week in just listening to others and what they're doing.
Right.
So that 5 hours a week is well spent because then I'm able to, hone my skills. And I actually put together a profitable ads playbook
Mm-hmm.
that is one of those things that for me has become common sense, but I'm learning when I'm teaching people, they don't understand as well without all the diagrams and screenshots and step-by-step instructions.
Right.
So giving them that has made a world of difference. But it also, when you teach, for me, which is one of the things I enjoy doing, I also am able to get clarity for not only myself, but also for the people taking the course.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about like vision's clarity, right, Ted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Yeah.
have great ideas and they just don't know how to get the word out. But this is a
Right.
way you help them get the word out.
I do. I do. I like I have a client right now that I'll refer to because she has this fantastic vision. And when you have a vision, that's great because your vision is your cornerstone of building your ultimate success, building the business growth.
Yeah.
The vision, seeing who's coming to your class, who's coming to your course, who's buying your product, and how you're using that marketing message to attract them ties into your vision.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you and I work together a lot on just getting the marketing message out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
With the vision.
vision is like kind of your why too. It's why am I doing this? That's my vision. Change the world or whatever.
Right. Right. I know for me, I want to help people's businesses grow.
Yeah.
So the ideal person for me to work with is someone that's over 50.
Mm-hmm.
I relate to them better, they relate to me better. And I'm on my second act.
Right. Yeah. Most of us are, at least our second act.
Yeah, I had to reinvent myself. And then I had to gain all these skills and really find a niche where I'm comfortable. I
Right.
mean, I did not have the vision of running Facebook ads 10 years ago. Didn't even
Right.
know about it.
Yeah.
But as I grew, I found my wheelhouse. And I know the men in your Epic Encore group are looking for what will fulfill them and satisfy them and create that identity for them
Yeah.
that pulls them out of bed every morning, that keeps them happy, that keeps them in communication with the world, of, you know, taking that whole isolation piece out of their life.
Right.
Sometimes when that happens, there's already a piece in place. Like some of your men may have, an obvious consulting role right in front of them with a former company or a competitor.
Yeah.
That's like a natural stepping stone. It doesn't require Facebook ads to do that.
Right.
Right. So, or they may see a big hole in what their business was doing, what their former corporation was working on. Case in point, my mom's boyfriend worked for Champion Spark Plugs. And you would think, oh, this great big, huge, stock, Wall Street stock traded company had
Yeah.
all of their T's crossed and I's dotted. But what he noticed as a manager was they had this machine called the Goop machine. And it had this specific part that was made to such fine measurements, a micrometer would have to be used to measure the size of the piece.
Wow.
And it could only be made of fiber, which wears out, or brass. Brass does not wear out as fast as fiber, but eventually the brass did wear out in these machines. He retired, bought a few pieces of equipment, put in the back of his garage, and started making these pieces.
Oh.
That was his second act. He retired from Champion Spark Plug and then went on to make the part that was always wearing out on on one of their machines.
Perfect.
Yes. So some of your men may see that already. If not, think about what's not working where in the corporation where you were. Maybe there's a role you could fulfill there. Maybe there's a part or a piece that they need. Yeah. Or perhaps it's time just to start your own vision and your own dream, something you've always wanted to do, but you're not sure how to get the word out there and to make your business grow.
Yeah.
And that's where Facebook ads is helpful. That's where,
we've got like 40 years of knowledge and experience, and it's still relevant. Maybe the technology's changed, obviously, but the core is it's people talking to people and doing business with people.
It is.
That'll never change.
It is. And when you're talking to people, the ads are the same thing. You're just talking to people.
Yeah.
And you and I were having a great conversation about some of the hype that unfortunately is in the marketing industry. And that's what I would caution your men to be very keenly aware of.
Yeah.
If they see an offer that's too good to be true, you've got a plethora of marketing experience. Run it by you,
right,
and see if it's good or not. I often meet with clients and they have bought these unfortunate hyped up deals, and it's left them up a creek without a paddle, so to speak.
Right.
In a contract that they're trying to figure out how to get out of. It might only be like $200 a month. Well, it's only $200 a month. Well, you know what? Do you want to spend $200 a month on something you don't use? Or do you want to spend it on a fun day with your grandkids?
Right.
Yeah. Your special toy that you've been wanting to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw a webinar this morning. They talked about a lot of fake products on ads.
A fake
or like
product.
It's from China or something. It's like you think you're buying something and then it takes like a month to get to you and it's really local. I've had that happen to me a few times.
Oh,
and then they say you can return this, but it'll cost you like $100 to mail it back to China.
Oh my gosh.
So have you seen that? And was there ways to like detect that in ads other than misspellings or
I had a client years ago. I first started my Facebook marketing, and she was so excited that she was going to sell these army camouflage hats, and she was going to buy them direct from China. And she got orders. And again, it was someone she paid $5,000 for a weekend course to learn how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
She was taught how to go buy product from China. Wasn't told, she thought she was going to sell camouflage gun covers and gun equipment and hunter's gear. Well, Facebook doesn't allow any of that.
Oh,
Yeah, no guns or ammo. She was stuck with hats.
wow.
And then she thought, well, I'll sell camping beds. Well, just like what you were talking about with the junk stuff, the hats wouldn't arrive. She was dealing with complaints. And then when it did arrive, the color didn't match.
Wow.
And then she'd have to deal with that. And she's like, how do I fix this? And I'm like, who taught you this?
Yeah.
I suggest you go to them and ask for a refund.
Yeah. Good luck.
He was like, yeah, I remember he bought a lot of cars after that weekend. About
Wow.
50 people in the room. I'm like, and he went and
Yeah.
bought cars with your money. So buyer beware. If a deal is too good to be true, don't. And there's this new site that is in direct competition with Amazon now. And I understand they're doing pretty good with getting
Mhm.
products delivered. But
Yeah.
yeah, don't buy something
Buyer
that's,
beware.
yeah, buyer beware. Buyer beware. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. One of
if
the
I'm a
things,
legitimate businessman, I just retired and I'm starting a business, like what do you suggest for me? How do I figure out what's the best thing to sell? Should I run ads? Do you help people do that?
I do. I do. Matter of fact, as a guest as a guest here, I'd like to offer for your members to have an opportunity to meet with me for free if they want to go over any of that. And I'll have to provide the link for them to do that. But
Yeah,
yes,
I'll put it in the comments.
okay, awesome. That's one of those things. If you're just getting started and when you're coming out of the gate, having the opportunity to talk to somebody like myself that has the experience in ads and what works and what doesn't work, I can tell you've got a good idea or you don't have a good idea,
Yeah.
what your competition's already doing and what you're up against. We'll do a little SWOT analysis, if you will, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats,
Hmm.
and do them. And that's part of a marketing analysis as well. Will the idea fly? Will it make a big difference for your ROI?
Right.
I've had people come to me and they have this fantastic idea for a course and they want to charge $97 to share their 40 years of experience. But unfortunately, the whole thing is not going to fly because it's going to cost them so much for ads. It'll take them 3 months to crawl out of the hole from their ad cost.
Oh, geez. Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of those things that you've got to take into consideration when you're looking at ideas. And Ted, I like how you're thinking because when you're at the idea phase, that's when you should be doing your research on the product and the
Yeah.
competition and if it's viable or not. I know there's a whole dynamic shift right now into holistic gardening.
Right.
I mean, 10 years ago, it was a cottage industry, and now it's gotten to be more mainstream.
Hmm.
So to get into it now, you'd really want to hone into a really small area or niche of that natural gardening. Maybe it's just growing things in a pot in the house
Right.
versus, natural fertilizers. I've seen people put together entire websites and build businesses off of one product. And it is possible if you have the right product.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It's got to be a demand for it.
exactly. Exactly. One in particular is string made of hemp. Yeah. And there's
Hmm.
a gazillion uses for that.
Yeah.
I had no idea until I saw this website and went, oh my gosh, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
Another idea. This one blows my mind to this day. Dirt for bonsai trees.
Wow.
I know. I know. It's a specific dirt that must be replaced on a regular basis. And it was this little itsy bitsy niche in gardening.
Yeah.
The guy's doing great with it. Purified water for CPAP machines was another one.
Yeah.
Healthcare is the industry. The little inky dinky niche is this item that needs to be renewed.
Well, my wife went shopping this spring. She bought some potting soil for our garden, and it was
Yeah.
420 brand. It said 420, which is like for marijuana. So it was dirt for marijuana growing. Our tomatoes are growing really tall this year.
I wonder how they're going to taste.
We don't care. We're so happy.
Yeah. We have big tomatoes. We're good.
So, yeah.
Funny.
Well, that's why it's important, those of you listening to this, talk to someone and get some advice for people that have been there and done that. Teresa's legitimate. I highly recommend talking to her. There's other people that get you on a strategy session and it's just a sales pitch. And they're going to press you hard to buy whatever they're selling, whether you need it or not. So if they start selling too quickly, you feel uncomfortable, just hang up.
Oh, absolutely. Say thank you very much.
Don't even say thank you very much. Just hang up.
Oh.
If you feel like they're really pressuring you and it's high pressure, because there's these high ticket sales training classes, they teach you how to manipulate. I was in one, they said it's selling, no pressure selling. And the guy was like hard selling people. It's like I felt so I left. I supposed to a whole weekend. I just said, no, I'm not doing this. I don't do
Good
that.
for you, Ted. That was the interesting part when I was learning how the SEO and the websites worked. The niche was a lead generation for roofers. And one of the reasons I was successful at it was number one, my age. You know, most of the guys out there doing this were in their 20s.
Right.
And the roofing companies would tell me, I'm going to try this because number one, you're a woman and you look like you've been around the block a little bit.
In
Yeah,
a nice way.
exactly. Exactly. So, and one of the reasons I mentioned this for your group is use where you're at in life to your advantage.
Yeah.
What industry could you come into the left field on and be successful in because you're not the norm?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And this whole process you're going through right now, it's the same as a diamond being going under pressure and becoming shiny and bright and multicolored and multifaceted.
Yeah.
This is the pressure situation that you're in right now, but there's a diamond coming out on the other side for you. You know, there's opportunities out there. And one of the things I do like to focus on when I talk to people is where are the hidden, what are the challenges?
Yeah.
And the challenges are the opportunities. And it could be something as simple as my mom noticed when she was in business with my dad, she's like, well, you know, when we get done with this, they were in the watch repair business. They sold it. She made a business out of going around collecting used watch batteries and reselling them.
Wow. Wow.
I know. I know. It was the simplest thing. And so she took advantage of she's a female in a man's world, and they trusted her. So where could you go where you can build that, where your trust becomes automatic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of veterans. I do free LinkedIn profile makeovers for veterans.
Oh, awesome.
And I love it because I talk to people who are in the military 20 or 30 years
They're
and they're
fascinating.
coming out and they think they're scared because I've been in this bubble for 20 or 30 years. What's it like living outside this bubble and how can I get a job? Because I have no experience. Like you led
Oh,
people into battle for 20 years. You put your life on the line every day. You have
right.
so much to give, so much knowledge. And they're like, oh,
Yes.
really?
Oh, yes. And here's the cool part. Now, I hear this a lot from successful people. Is successful people will tell you, in order to be successful, you need to master the mundane. Those guys in the military, they've mastered the mundane already.
Yeah,
They've got routine down. They
right,
they they had to have everything in a certain place all the time, and they're going to continue to live their lives like that. And that's the kind of person you want to have in your office that understands organization, that understands problem solving, that understands how to be creative.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
Great.
absolutely. They've got so much to offer. Yeah, yeah.
So kind of wrapping up here, like what advice can you give the viewers right now? They're thinking, I'm just retiring or I just lost my job.
Mm.
What's the first step they should take?
I would suggest, and this is something I know you like to do, Ted, I would suggest starting to write down ideas. Put things in a journal and make it a habit,
Yeah.
either first thing in the morning or last thing before you go to bed. Put your ideas down. And the one that excites you, that you wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh, I'm still thinking about that.
Yeah.
Or the one that pulls you out of bed in the morning, that's the idea to go after. That's the idea to research and explore. And that's
Yeah.
when you give me a call.
Yeah, because if you have the
Yeah,
greatest idea, you think it's the best thing since sliced bread. If no one's searching Google for it or there's no demand, and you can help people find if there is demand or not.
exactly. Exactly. Because if there's no demand, you can't create demand in the market.
Right.
And if there's too much demand, it's an uphill battle. But if you find the right little sweet spot and people haven't found that, other competition hasn't found that, that's the idea to grow.
Yeah.
That's the idea to seed, water, and tend to.
Like the watch batteries. Like who would have thought?
Yeah, I know. My dad was like, Marianne.
Right.
She was like,
Well, thank you. What's your website, by the way, if people want to get in touch with you?
oh, yes, it's doctorofads.com, and / business marketing. And make sure I get it right because my team just did this whole thing for you. Yeah, free business clarity call.
Okay.
Doctorofads.com, free business clarity call.
And I'll put that in the comments too, so people can just click on it. But thank you,
Okay,
Teresa. I just
great.
always love talking to you. You always have so much great information.
Thank you, Ted. This is a real treat and an honor, and I can't wait to hear all the success stories of your members.
Great. Thank you.
My pleasure.